Your SSH private key just appeared in plain text in Jenkins logs. The pipeline used with credentials, but then echoed the variable, bypassing the mask. Let's break down Jenkins file, Declarative Pipeline, how it works, and the exact mistake behind that failure. Jenkins Declarative Pipeline is a structured DSL for CI/CD as code. It's like a factory blueprint. Agent defines where, stages define what, and post handles cleanup. In this lesson, we'll cover the essential syntax and the gotchas that have burned teams in production. Declarative Pipeline enforces a strict structure with blocks like pipeline, agent, stages, and post. It's the recommended approach for most teams because it provides automatic syntax checking and integrates with Blue Ocean. The agent directive tells Jenkins where to execute. A common mistake is using agent any at the top, which randomly assigns agents. Best practice: use agent none at pipeline level and define specific agents per stage. Stages run sequentially. Break your pipeline into small, focused stages like checkout, compile, test, deploy. This helps pinpoint failures quickly. The post block defines actions after a stage or pipeline completes. Always include a post block for cleanup and notifications. Use always for critical tasks, but be mindful of performance. Environment variables manage configuration. Set them at the appropriate scope. Use script blocks for dynamic assignment and ensure shell steps use double quotes for variable expansion. The tools directive sets up tools like Maven and JDK. Tool names are case-sensitive and must match exactly. In production, use Docker agents with pre-installed tools to avoid inconsistencies. Triggers define how the pipeline starts. Use poll.scm for code changes and cron for scheduled tasks. Avoid the hash in cron if you need exact times. Parameters make pipelines interactive. Use choice for environments and Boolean param for toggles. Never use password parameters, use credentials instead. Options configure pipeline behavior. Always include timestamps, a pipeline-level timeout, and build discarder in every pipeline to prevent runaway builds and disk space issues. The when directive gates stages based on conditions. Use branch main for deployment, building tag for releases, and change request for pull requests. Set before agent true to skip expensive agent allocation. Credentials are injected using the credentials, helper in environment or with credentials step. Always use with credentials for credential usage inside steps and never echo them. The matrix directive runs the same stage across multiple access combinations. It's great for cross-platform testing, but be careful with resource usage. Too many combinations can overwhelm your cluster. The script block allows arbitrary groovy code, but defeats the purpose of declarative pipeline. Use it only when necessary and keep it short. Prefer declarative constructs like when and matrix. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. The pipeline used with credentials to bind an SSH key, then assigned it to an environment variable and echoed it. Jenkins masks the credential binding, but not subsequent variable expansion. The key appeared in plain text in the logs. The pipeline used with credentials, but then assigned the key to an environment variable and printed it with echo SSH key $. Jenkins masks only the credential binding, not subsequent variable expansion. The fix was simple: never echo credential variables. Use with credentials blocks and pass the credential directly to shell commands. We also added a post-failure email alert to notify on log leaks and rotated the compromised key. Echoing a credential variable prints the secret in plain text. Jenkins masks the credential binding, but not the variable expansion. Always avoid echoing credentials. The article targets Jenkins 2.44+ and Declarative Pipeline 1+. Note that the matrix directive was introduced in Declarative Pipeline 1.26, Jenkins 2.66+, and before agent in one was added in 1.25. If you are on an older version, these features may not be available. Always check your Jenkins version and plugin versions to avoid syntax errors. The article mentions before agent true in passing, but does not show a concrete example. This pattern is critical for production pipelines where agent allocation is expensive, e.g., Docker containers. Use before agent true to evaluate the when condition before allocating the agent, saving resources and time. The article warns to limit stash size to 500 MB, but it does not explain why. Jenkins stashes are stored on the master node and can cause disk space issues or performance degradation if too large. Additionally, stashes are not available across different builds. They are only for cross-stage sharing within the same build. For larger artifacts, use archive artifacts or external storage. The article mentions using parallel within a stage, but does not provide a code snippet. This is a common pattern for running independent tasks concurrently, such as running unit tests in parallel on the same agent. To debug credential leaks, review build logs for any exposed secrets. Use timestamps for traceability. You can also validate pipeline syntax using the Jenkins API before running. Let's run through some common interview questions. What is the difference between agent any and agent none? Agent any allocates any available agent. Agent none defers to per stage agents. How do you inject credentials securely? Use with credentials step and never echo credential variables. What is the purpose of post conditions? Define actions after stage pipeline based on status, success, failure, always. And a few frequently asked questions. Can I use parameters in multi-branch pipeline? No, use environment variables or external config. How do I skip default checkout? Add options, skip default checkout. What is the difference between stash and archive? Stash is for cross-stage sharing. Archive is for permanent artifact storage. To recap, always set agent none at pipeline level, include timestamps. And timeout, never echo credentials, use matrix for cross-product testing, keep script blocks minimal, and always include post for cleanup and notifications. Ready to go deeper? Up next, Jenkins pipeline unit testing, then Jenkins scripted pipeline and Groovy, then Jenkins pipeline stages and parallel execution. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.